With their win today, the Chiefs have now won 15 games in the regular season for the first time in franchise history. And per Trey Wingo on X, 5 sacks without Chris Jones, Mahomes over 320 yards and 3 touchdown passes, Kelsey all over the field, Worthy making plays, home field in the AFC, secured this in a blowout win against a 10-win team on the road. Doubt them at your own peril, but the Chiefs are peaking right before the playoffs. And then finally from Good Morning Football, also on X, are you not entertained? The Chiefs won 3 games in 11 days. They just blew out 2 playoff teams in 96 hours. The Chiefs are now just the third team since 1960 to go 6 or more games in a row without a turnover. Meanwhile, the D has caused 10 turnovers over the last 3 games and sacked Russell Wilson 5 times on Wednesday without Chris Jones. That is from longtime Chiefs enthusiast Peter Schrager. Whew. These are the good old days, Chiefs fans. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Welcome to 10 Things. I am BJ Kissel here on KC Sports Network. We've got one big question to answer. How likely is a Chiefs three-peat? I'm going to be honest, I'm biased, but I'll get to that in a minute. I've got my top 2 takeaways from the Chiefs' performance on Christmas against the Steelers, plus 3 plays that I loved in that win. Audio, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you might want to go over to YouTube for that one. It's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more visual. Plus, I've got the 4 facts you need to know to look smarter to your friends and family. And we know 1 big question, 2 takeaways, 3 plays to love, and 4 facts to know. All that adds up to 10 things that you got to know. Appreciate you for spending part of your day here with us. But before we get into the show, do want to mention we've got another raffle going. I know we just ended the Soul of Casey raffle. Thank you so much for everybody that supported that. I know we put out the video. It never does justice to how much fun and selfishly how much fun that is to go shopping and be able to spend. It was just over $15,000 that we spent for Operation Breakthrough and the teenagers in their program in the Ignition Lab to be able to provide them with Christmas gifts. Is a blessing for us, and we appreciate everybody who's a part of that. I know we raffle off items and we got all that out. Hopefully everybody got everything before Christmas. But it's a great thing that you all allow us to use this platform to be able to do for the community. And it's really something that works for both of us. And this is this raffle that we're doing, that we're just starting right now, is another one of those. If you've been following us, you know our Feed It Forward program is one of our core programs that we do throughout the year. And we've done that probably the last 2 years with Hope Faith homeless shelters in our Feed It Forward program, helping provide meals to them, something we had done with Mission Taco over the last year. And right now we have donated 4 playoff tickets for that divisional round game at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium, plus a parking pass. And then our friends over at Tickets for Less have chipped in with 4 VIP pregame tailgate passes for whoever wins these tickets. We're going to raffle the tickets off on January 12th. Once the wildcard games are done and we know who the Chiefs' opponent's going to be and what time that game is going to be, then we will select a winner. We'll send those tickets out. But all the money that we raise from this raffle, we are going to write a check and give it to Doug, give it to Chef Scott over at Hope Faith, and provide it for meals for the most vulnerable in our community at a time that it's really going to be needed. And we appreciate everybody who supported the different things that we do. We try to be as transparent as we can with these and try to make as big an impact with the size of our network. And we're not this huge foundation that raises a ton of money, but we try to be really intentional with the things that we do. And this is another one of those. Haven't done this one before, but really want to help Hope Faith as best we can. And we had some extra money for some tickets, and we wanted to provide it and do something to help. And this is the way we did that. So just like always, givebutter.com/feed it forward. You can buy tickets there for the raffle through the KCSN Foundation. And then also on the Venmo page for KC Sports Network. Just like usual, you can find the links in the description, but we appreciate you for supporting that. And good luck. Get a chance to go see this team in person. It's gonna be one of those things that we all tell stories about how we got to see games in Arrowhead, let alone playoff games in Arrowhead. But let's get into this one, and let's start with the big question. How likely is a three-peat? I'm biased. You know this by this point. I'm a Chiefs fan. Obviously I'm biased, but I do believe they will become the first NFL team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls and the 15th professional sports team to accomplish 3 straight championships that's spanning across the NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, and the WNBA. There have been 9 instances in the NFL or in NFL history where a team has won back-to-back Super Bowls. No NFL team returned to the Super Bowl in that third year. So back-to-back, had a few losing the AFC or NFC championship game and trying to get back to the Super Bowl for a third straight year. And then obviously only one franchise, the Buffalo Bills, had reached the Super Bowl in 4 straight years, though they lost each time. Sorry, Bills fans. I remember this when I was a kid that I used to describe getting close to anything and not getting there. I was like, I almost had it, but I Buffalo Billed it. It didn't matter if I was reaching for something or whatever it was. I Buffalo Billed it. I'm sorry. I just realized that this morning when I was writing this, the notes up for this, that's how I described things early in my childhood, watching the Bills be very good, win all those AFC title games, all those moments of having a phenomenal team, but then the letdown at the end, that had a sting. That's different. And in some ways, I think that's why Chiefs fans and Bill fans kind of would get along, at least for a while, until everyone hated us and hates us because of the success that we're having right now. But before this, it's kind of shared history with the playoffs. Obviously, nothing's going to compare to 4 straight Super Bowl losses, but 8 straight playoff losses for the Chiefs, tied for the second most in NFL history, and some of those coming in absolutely brutal fashion, including with Andy Reid in his first year, 38-10 in Indy. Sorry for everybody, reminding everybody of that. But feel like there's some shared history there before this run, so at least you can understand Bills fans and where they're coming from. But the 9 times in NFL history where a team has won back-to-back Super Bowls and how they ended up faring. The 68 Packers went 6-7, and then they missed the playoffs the next season. Or the 68 Packers missed the playoffs after back-to-back Super Bowls. 74 Dolphins, they reached the divisional round, but then lost to the Raiders. The 76 Steelers lost in the AFC title game to the Raiders. The 80 Steelers went 9-7 and missed the playoffs. The 1990 49ers, they lost the NFC title game to the Giants 15-13. Joe Montana's last real game with them. He got hurt, played one game at the end of the season after Steve Young came in, then obviously got traded to Kansas City. And until Patrick Mahomes, it was our claim to fame in the playoffs that we had Joe Montana for a point of his career that I didn't really talk about a whole lot because of all the success that he had with the Niners. Kind of sad at one point. Chiefs fans know. And the 94 Cowboys lost the NFC title game to the 49ers. 99 Broncos, they went 6-10. They weren't real competitive. 05 Patriots lost in the divisional round. And then now that brings us to the 2024 Chiefs. And I am saying, yes, the Chiefs just played their best game of the season. Chris Jones didn't even play, and the defense had 5 sacks. And now they sit as the best scoring defense in the NFL, allowing just 18 points per game. Charles Omenihu had 6 pressures in this game. Mike Dana had a couple of sacks. FAU made a play. The secondary is taking it away. Trent McDuffie, all the knock about him not taking the ball away, not getting interceptions, 2 weeks straight with interceptions, and then a forced fumble. Spags deserves a statue. That's conversation for the offseason. We could really love on him without all these other storylines that we got to get to. But DeAndre Hopkins had 2 catches for 7 yards. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt had 15 carries for 38 yards combined against the Steelers. It wasn't good, but you think about the offense, you think about the performance. I personally think best performance of the season. But yet, DeAndre Hopkins, one of the reasons that you are so confident for the playoffs, didn't have a huge impact in this game. You still feel good about it because that's just where the Chiefs are at right now. Same thing with Pacheco and Hunt. Running game, not really getting going unless you needed a 3rd or a 4th and 1, and then they'd pick up the first down. But overall, not a lot from the running game. But again, you feel good about it. Now they can give rest to those who need it for that game against the Broncos next week. Don't have to play. We'll see how Andy Reid handles that. And they get a week off before the divisional round at Arrowhead, like we talked about, where they are undefeated this season. Basically 3 weeks to get right for people who need it. Oh, another reason I'm confident about them getting the three-peat and doing something that had never been done in NFL history. They went 6-1 against AFC playoff teams, at least as of today. Every reason to be confident in this group. Hadn't been more than 10 years ever that there was an opportunity for a team to go for a three-peat. Happened once in the 60s, as we went through, twice in the 70s, once in the 80s, 3 times in the 90s, the 05 Pats, and then here we are 20 years later with the Chiefs. The fact that it's been longer of a gap than it's ever been in the history of the National Football League for a team to try and get a three-peat, whether it's free agency and the way things are set up now, just parity, money, contracts, whatever the reason, this is the best any NFL fan base has ever had it. So we talk about these are the good old days. We literally sell merch to remind ourselves when we wear it, not just for Chiefs, but just in general, live in the moment. That's why we sell the gear. But it's the best any NFL fan base has ever had it. We talk about it till we're blue in the face, but I hope we all appreciate it. Let's get to the top 2 takeaways that I have from this game. The first one, Patrick Mahomes should be the MVP. He's not going to win the MVP, but he absolutely could and should win the MVP every single year. Same thing with like Andy Reid and the coach of the year. I do think Kevin O'Connell and what he's done with Sam Darnold in Minnesota, having them in the mix for the number 1 seed, losing JJ McCarthy, Kevin O'Connell deserves it as well. You could give Andy Reid the coach of the year award every year for all the same reasons you could explain for Patrick Mahomes being the MVP, Andy Reid getting coach of the year. But Patrick Mahomes lost his top 2 wide receivers, running back at different points early in the season. He overcame bad play, even his own at times, to win games, which is why it's the most valuable player. Not most outstanding player, not player with the best stats, most valuable player. His first 7 games, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Last 9 games of his, 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Chiefs are 15-1. They have the 1 seed secured with a week left to play in the regular season. They just scored 29 points at Pittsburgh, where the Steelers had only allowed 15 points per game at home. That was a top 8 scoring defense in the NFL and one of the best in the league at home. The Ravens lost there to the Steelers. The Ravens only scored 16 points, and Lamar could win the MVP. Sure, I think Josh Allen deserves it if it's not Mahomes. I think it's Josh Allen because they were supposed to be on a down year. Did not expect the Bills to be as good as they are, and the reason they are is because Josh Allen is the Bills. I thought that window was closing. He is keeping it open just by being himself. I'm not above saying like he is awesome to watch. Even Joe Burrow, as much as I dislike the Bengals and their fans, Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind. Would be a scary team to sneak into the playoffs. Different conversation for a different show. But back to Mahomes, short week, bad ankle. He does the amazing things. We see it every week. That's why Chiefs fans, we understand why the Chiefs are 15-1, while the rest of the league only watches clips of plays where there's a flag thrown or some crazy thing happened. They think the Chiefs are lucky. We see the plays where he makes an amazing play to Samaje Perine on 3rd down, throwing it to him before Perine's even looking to give him an opportunity to make a play. And on the very next play, maneuvers the pocket, delivers a beautiful ball to Justin Watson. And just like that, 2 plays into it, up by 6, Chiefs have a chance to make it a 2-possession game. And in the NFL, especially today's NFL, it is a huge lead when you can get a 2-possession lead over another NFL team. And Mahomes does it in the blink of an eye with a play that very few quarterbacks in the NFL would even attempt to make, and then throwing an absolute beautiful pass to Justin Watson to put him in that position. So Patrick Mahomes will not win the MVP, but he absolutely deserves to win the MVP. And the beautiful part is he doesn't really care. Just win another Super Bowl MVP, and then we can all celebrate like no NFL fan base has ever gotten to do before, ever. All right, number 2 takeaway. You got to talk about the defense and the pressure and the way that they performed without Chris Jones. I know it's an easy kind of low-hanging fruit type storyline layup, but 5 sacks, obviously Dana having 2, the FAU play, which we will break down on the 3 plays to love because there's a lot about that whole sequence to talk about, but Turk Wharton doing his thing, and then George Karlaftis, again, I said it on the show last week, top 10 in the NFL in pressures this season is George Karlaftis. A lot of attention on Chris Jones, and deservedly so. Defensive player of the year, the best player on the best defense in the NFL. He should be in that conversation. Again, he probably won't be because people are tired of the Chiefs saying that's just kind of the way it is right now. But the other way that it is right now, Chiefs defense, 22 pressures against the Steelers in total, according to Pro Football Focus. On those 22 pressures, Russell Wilson, 4 of 11 for 35 yards. Normally pretty good against pressure, maneuvers the pocket well, delivers the ball deep down the field accurately, kind of those moon shots that we've seen. We've seen him have success with that with George Pickens. Did not happen in this game. George Pickens was kind of done from the early part of this game where McDuffie ran through him. He thought there'd be a flag, got frustrated, and was kind of a non-factor after that for as good a player as he was. But, Russell Wilson dropped back 48 times in this game. He was under pressure on 42% of them, and the Chiefs are only blitzing 25% of the time. We know Spags will get free rushers as much as any DC in the league. They led the league in that category last year, probably among the tops again in this year because of timing, spacing, formations. They understand how to attack offenses, and they spend all season kind of tweaking and getting ready to be able to absolutely unleash on teams as we get towards the end of the season. And again, peaking at the right time. And cannot forget to mention Charles Omenihu, 6 pressures against the Steelers on his own. Didn't get a sack, but 6 pressures, making an impact. Sometimes sacks We love to use him as stats, but sometimes just getting a quarterback off his spot, getting to look somewhere else because you've got pressure in your face, all those things lead to success for the defense. And if there's anything we learned about this team, they don't care about the individual stuff. They care about the team aspect of things. And it's the reason they're 15-1. It's the reason that we're talking about them doing something that had never been done before. I'm going to keep saying that because it's just fun to say. All right, it's time for 3 plays to love. Let's talk a little Xavier Worthy coming off the best game of his career, 89 yards from scrimmage, including this touchdown where he gets to the front part of the pylon. Beautiful. We've seen him make all kinds of plays all around the field, whether it's coming out of the backfield or whether it's lined up outside or inside at receiver. He is making plays all over the place and even making the plays that you don't expect. Right here on the Mahomes scramble, you can see Xavier Worthy on the scramble. He takes off going vertical down the field, takes his man with him in man coverage, and he's able to create some space. But here's my favorite play when you break it down on the all 22. I'm going to pause it right here. So I'm going to bring it back just a little bit on this play and tell you why I love this one so much. This is that little swing, little quick screen to Xavier Worthy coming out of the backfield. So right here, you can see Patrick Mahomes pre-snaps. The reason I love this play. All right. On the highlights, not going to go down as a highlight play. I just showed it as one of the plays that Xavier Worthy made throughout the game. But upon further review, and you look at the all-22, there's a lot of things that you can love about this play for many reasons. First being, you see Mahomes reset Isaiah Pacheco. And again, I'm not going to pretend I know the game at this level. I can just watch what happens and try to react to it. So as soon as Isaiah Pacheco moves off to the side, you can see there's some communication going on. You see the safety number 25. He comes down and right there, kind of claps his hands, shakes his hands a little bit. I'd really like to know what went down here, whether or not he was going to come on the blitz, whether or not there's some gamesmanship going on with Patrick Mahomes. Because what ends up happening is the blitz comes off the right side. That's what ends up happening. But by him moving Pacheco, looked like Patrick Queen was already kind of moving to that side as you rewind it just a bit here. Before Pacheco moves, Patrick Queen starts kind of going to that side. And so then safety comes down, 25 comes down, pre-snap, Mahomes is pointing, looks like he's trying to show he's coming down a blitz, whatever the reason. But immediately Mahomes, you'd see arm pointed out to the guy coming off the right edge. He knows where the blitz is coming from. He is communicating it to everybody, whether this was film work, whatever it was. You can't tell me Patrick Mahomes isn't pointing at the blitzer right here, knowing where it's coming, adjusting the play and making sure they're in a good situation. Even Isaiah Pacheco points over there. He's like, yeah, I got it. I see him too. So he immediately comes on the blitz. Ball is out of Patrick Mahomes' hand. Now there's a lot to unpack with this play, so we're going to watch it several times, but he gets rid of it quickly. There's basically 3 versus 3 over on the side as Xavier Worthy takes it. He's able to get up around 6-7 yards on the play. So here's the other angle, the all 22 sideline of this play. You can see with the formation, it's setting up. Mahomes knows that that guy is coming. And here's my guess. I could be wrong. You can let me know in the comments how wrong I am. What I'm guessing is that as soon as Pacheco moves over, he comes down, he's reading man coverage because Patrick Mahomes looks out and sees the linebacker lined up on Xavier Worthy. Probably not going to be man coverage unless he's blitzing, and that's what Patrick Mahomes points at him for. I think he sees like, hey, there's no way you're in man coverage based on that movement you just had with your safety coming down. As Pacheco moves to the left side of him, he looks over and sees the linebacker lined up on Xavier Worthy. He's not believing it, so he's going to get the ball out quickly. As you can see right here, Xavier Worthy gets the ball, and the thing I love about this play is you see Juju Smith-Schuster and you see Justin Watson doing work out on the edge, blocking as wide receivers for successful plays. Again, this is not a touchdown play. That's a 50-yard play. These are the winning plays. This is Patrick Mahomes knows what he's doing pre-snap. Everyone is on the same page. They're reading the defense in the same way. They get the ball to Xavier Worthy, and now he has to make a play. The guys in front of him have to make blocks, which is exactly what they do. You can see Juju locked in with his guy right there. Justin Watson doing the same, allows Xavier Worthy to get up the field. Now, I'm going to rewind this just a little bit and pause it to where we can see as Xavier Worthy is starting to make a play. Here's what I think, whether it's instinctual, whatever it is. If Xavier Worthy right at this point continues on and just tries to go speed to the outside, the cornerback, the defensive back that Juju Smith-Schuster is engaged with on the 20-yard line right now can literally just push Juju. He's got momentum. He can push Juju and kind of extend out to where Xavier Worthy can't turn up the field. So instead, Xavier Worthy gets one jab step like he's going to cut it up the middle and then bounces it back to the outside. The second he gives that jab step, the defensive back has to cover it, slows his momentum down, which then allows the block to happen, Xavier Worthy to get around him. The jab step, he goes inside and is able to get around him. I'm going to show it one more time. As you can see, the move that Xavier Worthy put on, which is the only reason this play was successful. There's a lot of pursuit coming down the line of scrimmage, but Xavier Worthy does a great job kind of giving that little jab step inside and creating some space in a lane for him to turn this upfield. DB has to react to it. He gets around it. Again, great play from both Juju Smith-Schuster, from Justin Watson on the outside making that block. Obviously, a great play from Xavier Worthy, had the athleticism to make it, but those are the types of things. Again, I could be wrong with what I'm seeing, but those are the cause and effect of the moves they're making, the way that it's working together, and how the Chiefs are finding success, even on plays like this. It's Patrick Mahomes seeing it pre-snap. It's Pacheco being on the same page. It is Juju Smith-Schuster and Justin Watson doing their job out on the edge. If any one of those things doesn't happen, the play's not successful. That's why when Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, the superstars talk about the success they're having and they point to the team component of it, it's plays like this, I think, are to why they're talking about that. That's the first one that I love. So let's move on to the second play here. All right, and the second play that I love in this game is the touchdown throw from Patrick Mahomes to Justin Watson. Not just because they scored a touchdown, they went up two possessions, which is huge in the NFL. Not just that Patrick Mahomes threw an absolute perfect dart at the right time, the right trajectory, at all of that to Justin Watson. It's when you pause this play right here, I'm going to back it up just a little bit with this angle right here. So when you watch the design of this play, and we'll get to the all-22, it's really fun there, just like the last one was with Worthy, with what Mahomes sees. But you look at the pressure that you're putting on the defense. Again, I'm not going to pretend to understand the game at the level of a lot of the way that people break it down, but I have eyes and I can see skill sets and I understand pressure that you're putting on the defense. This right here, 3-man game. That's the way you want to look at it, with 3 defenders and man coverage against Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, and DeAndre Hopkins. Xavier Worthy, the defensive player, has got pretty good leverage over the top of him for any kind of short throw here on third down where you come up, make a tackle. They get a first down, maybe 50-50. The pressure, DeAndre Hopkins on the fade route, high pointing a ball over defensive back. That is, you have to be in perfect leverage or he's going to throw that football. Again, Xavier Worthy's speed along kind of the clear out underneath route that they have to come up underneath or come up on to make the tackle. There's DeAndre Hopkins over the top, and then Justin Watson running a very precise, quick route where he just has to create a tiny bit of separation. And if that ball is thrown on time with some speed, he can get it between the defensive backs, and that's exactly what happened. So now here's the view from the end zone, all 22, where you can see the pressure that they're putting on those defensive backs in man coverage. Timing has to be perfect. It is for the Chiefs. But when you look at it from the end zone, another one of those, Patrick Mahomes sees what's going on, sees that it's man coverage. He sends Xavier Worthy in motion. Xavier Worthy goes in motion for maybe a half a second before Mahomes has all the information that he needs and sends him back. So on play right here, this is what I see when I'm watching it. Mahomes is like, nope, get back there. I see what I need to. I see the guys following you. I see it's man coverage. Justin Watson's about to run a dart route or a precise route. I'm about to throw a dart. And we're going to get a touchdown right here. Here it is from all the angles one more time. Beautiful throw from Patrick Mahomes to Justin Watson. And again, it's timing, it's precision, it's Mahomes getting the information he needs before the snap to make the best decision. It's game planning. It's Xavier Worthy in the flat, Hopkins over the top, and Watson running the corner route. It's all working together beautifully on this play. And again, this is the one that put the Chiefs up 13-0 and really kind of made everybody feel at ease, at least for the next few possessions. After that wasn't awesome. But right here, Xavier Worthy in motion. Mahomes has the info. He sees the way they're lined up. He sees the leverage. Perfect throw. Touchdown. Love it. Third and final play to love from this game. Felix Anudike-Uzomah getting around the edge on 2nd and 10 early in the fourth quarter when the Steelers were going to try and make a run, get back into this game. FAU with a huge sack, bending the edge, getting around. Former first-round pick from a year ago, making some big plays with Chris Jones out, along with the rest of the defense. Love to see it. And on the very next play, Spags goes all Spagsy. We'll break it down in a second, but get it out to the outside on 3rd and long. Trent McDuffie comes up, makes a big-time play for the 3rd game in a row as a key takeaway at a big time for the Chiefs defense. Interceptions the last 2 weeks, forced fumble here. Firemouth is frustrated. It's not the first time we've seen a player get frustrated after playing the Chiefs. So what makes this play so beautiful? Let's start with the all 22 of both these plays, and let's watch the first one right here. This is the play from Felix Andy Duque Uzama, where he gets around the edge. He gets the top of his rush and has the athleticism to burst, come back beyond the 90-degree angle, whatever you want to call it. This first time we'll watch it, we need to pay attention to Uzama as he gets the top of his rush right here, and then he comes back. He's not coming perpendicular. He's not coming, is that perpendicular to the line of scrimmage? He's coming back the other way. It's a great display of athleticism for him to get there. But if you bring it back just a second, there's a good view on the end zone, all 22 of this, but it's a two-man game. Right here, you have a better view. You can see the first read, I believe, is across the middle. Drew Tranquil kind of takes that away from Russell Wilson. You see Drew Tranquil in about the 39-yard line right now, carrying that vertical seam. That's at least making Russell Wilson think twice about throwing that football. Doesn't want an interception. Now, Uzama is able to bring him down, but if he doesn't, you can see both guys. I think Najee Harris is one of them. He's around like the 27-yard line right now, about to come into the flat. He's open for a good 6-7 yard gain, whether Nick Bolton's able to come make that tackle or Josh Williams down here at the bottom of the screen. That might be that curl flat defender who comes up and makes a tackle. Still going to be a positive gain on this play if Russell Wilson has the time to hit Najee Harris, who's, you can see the two guys open, one a little stop route across the middle, and then Najee coming towards us down the line of scrimmage on about the 33-yard line. He is open, but Russell Wilson is already sacked. And so when you watch from the other view, you can see the play action, a couple steps from Bolton, but Drew Tranquil is able to flip his hips, get vertical right here, take that throw away right at the same time that FAU gets the top of his rush. Najee Harris is going to come open, but there's not enough time to get him the football. It is a sack from the Chiefs defense. It is FAU doing his job, and he's able to get to him because Drew Tranquil did his job. And then because they did their job on second down, forcing a 3rd and long, let's go to the all 22 of the 3rd and long. And you look at the pre-snap line for the Chiefs defense. Everybody up on the line of scrimmage except for one defensive back. Even the cornerbacks are in press coverage. It's a pressure look on 3rd and long from the Chiefs. And then you can watch the safety absolutely bail out on a dead sprint to give him a too high look. So Russell Wilson, at the beginning of this play, pre-snap, he sees everyone on the line of scrimmage. You can see it right here. Look at all those dudes on the line. He looks at the center, catches the ball, and by the time he gets to his 3rd step, look at that. All the guys, you have 5 defenders in a cover 2, 5 guys on the 30-yard line, and then 2 deep safeties. Has no idea what's coming. There's only 3 defensive linemen, 4 guys coming, so you knew one of those guys up there was going to come. Ends up being Leo Chanel. He gets uncomfortable, has to get rid of the ball early, and then McDuffie is waiting to come make a play. It is beautiful design. It is beautiful execution. On first down on this play, they got pressure. Nick Bolton defended a pass out to the edge. On second down, FAU makes a sack. 3rd down, great design, gets the quarterback uncomfortable, get the ball out early, and then just come make a play. Come make a play out on the edge is exactly what they did. This is what we're talking about. We talk about complementary football for the Chiefs defense. This is why these are the 3 plays I love from this game. Let's move on to the 4th and final segment. That's the 4 stats that you ought to know from this game. First off, Mahomes, he breaks another record. In his 8th NFL season and his 7th as a full-time starter, Patrick Mahomes now owns 245 career touchdown passes, passing Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning for the most touchdown passes by any quarterback in their first 8 years in NFL history. They talked about it on the broadcast. It's always weird because it's 8 seasons, but it's only really 7 because he just started that one game his rookie year against Denver. But more contextually, that's probably not the way to describe that, but that's how I'm going to say it. More importantly, how many games did it take to get there? Patrick Mahomes threw 245 touchdown passes in 112 games. Peyton Manning threw 244 in 128 games, 16 games, basically an entire season, which would make sense because he missed an entire season. But imagine Patrick Mahomes with another 16 games, how many more he'd have? Well, that's the pace at which he's that much better than everyone else. Dan Marino has been brought up a lot of these over the years because start of his career was crazy, statistically speaking, because he had 241 touchdown passes in only 119 games. So 7 more than Mahomes at this point. But obviously during an era, they didn't throw the football as much. So you can see why Dan Marino has the fans the way he does. That must have been a whole lot of fun to watch. before it was cool to throw the ball that way. And then Russell Wilson and Brett Favre, 128 games, 113 games, respectfully, in there as well. But Patrick Mahomes just getting it done. Beautiful to watch. And I always love getting context like this because it just shows us that, yes, we really are watching the best to ever do it in the start of his career. And we can call it from the beginning because we have the ammo and the stats to back it up. All right. Number 2, love this from Mike Sando. Interesting follow-up with Mahomes, but something else that you can say to look smart to your friends. Mahomes' 2.34 average time to throw against the Steelers was the fastest of his career, and that's per True Media Sports analytics company. It's kind of competing with PFF a little bit. They do some great work over there. But if you sort, this is from Mike Sando again, if you sort all Mahomes starts by time to throw, you'll notice that he is 14-0 in the 14 quickest games, or his average time to throw. When it was the 14 quickest times in his career, he's 14-0. He is 30-1 in the 31 quickest games in which he had the quickest average time to throw, if you're following me. And then 67-5 in the 72 quickest games. Conversely, he's 1-8 in the 9 slowest and 6-11 in the 17 slowest. So ball out quick, good things. Obviously, and Mike says this, it's partly a game plan thing, but also a reflection of how easily he's finding open receivers versus holding onto the ball, taking sacks, forcing throws, those kinds of things. His stats against the Steelers are bonkers. I think it's 17 touchdowns, 1 interception. For whatever reason, he has got Mike Tomlin and that Steelers team figured out. They've been through different DCs, whatever. That Mahomes is good against the Steelers, but he's even better when he just gets the ball out quickly, as evidenced right there from Mike Sando. Good stuff there. All right, number 3, Travis Kelce had a memorable day. He broke a record, and he showed some respect to Tony G. With 8 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown against the Steelers, Travis Kelce surpassed 1,000 career receptions and now owns 1,004 catches in his career. Kelce becomes the first player in franchise history to reach 1,000 career catches and is just the 3rd tight end in NFL history to reach the mark. He became the fastest tight end in the history of the NFL to reach that mark, reaching it in just 175 games, besting the previous mark of 203 games set by Jason Witten. Again, Travis Kelce now only trailing Jason Witten and Tony G for the most receptions in a career from a tight end. But what made it more beautiful, I'm looking at more stats, deciding if I want to read all these. Fewest games to 1,000 career receptions from a tight end. Again, we just mentioned it. 28 games faster to 1,000 tight ends than the second closest person. That would Jason Witten. Another way of putting that stat. So Kelce, 175 games, Jason Witten in 203. But in the fourth quarter, Kelce caught a 12-yard touchdown pass from Mahomes to give him 77 career receiving touchdowns. With that TD, Kelce passed Pro Football Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez for the most receiving touchdowns in Chiefs history. Among tight ends, Kelce has the 5th most receiving touchdowns in NFL history. Then he dunked it, got a flag, and every Chiefs fan out there thought or said, that's cool, showing love for Tony G. We all knew, and that's what made it special. And Tony G knew too, because apparently he had told it on the broadcast. I didn't know that ahead of time. But he had said on the broadcast it'd be cool if he showed him respect in that way and that he'd help him pay the fine, which Kelce didn't forget as he put out on social media that you were going to help me with that fine. And Tony G basically said, yep, I got you. So that's pretty cool. It's awesome when they show respect for one another as we continue to watch Kelce, who knows that being drafted by the Chiefs made his career and has respected that throughout with all he does in the community and the genuine love he shows for people of Kansas City. It's just a beautiful thing to watch with Travis Kelce, the greatest tight end to ever play. All right, let's move on to number 4. Talked about him quite a bit. If you are watching on YouTube, the 3 Plays to Love segment. If you're listening to the audio podcast, we talked a little bit about, but Xavier Worthy. He hauled in a 7-yard touchdown from Mahomes for the first score of the afternoon on Wednesday or Christmas against the Steelers. And it marked Worthy's 6th receiving touchdown of the season, but the Chiefs up 6-0 left with 9 minutes left to go in the first quarter. With that score, Worthy is now tied for the 2nd most receiving touchdowns by a rookie in franchise history. He trails only Rashee Rice and what he did last year with 7 receiving touchdowns in 2023. Worthy finished the game with 8 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown while adding 10 yards on 2 carries. In the afternoon victory in Pittsburgh, Worthy now has a single game career highs in scrimmage yards with 89, receiving yards with 79, and receptions with 8. Again, we broke it down on the 3 plays to love, but Xavier Worthy and his development, not just when he has the ball in his hands, but when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, the things that he's doing, he looks like somebody who knows what they're doing. And that's a beautiful thing for a player with his skill set. Would be pretty cool. I don't know. I'd expect Xavier Worthy to play against the Broncos. People do have to play in that game. It's just Kelsey, Mahomes, Chris Jones, some of those guys, Justin Reed, older veteran players. Give them the time off. Xavier Worthy, even if he doesn't play a lot, it'd be cool to go out there and see him get or tie that record and get Xavier Worthy another touchdown or 2 to surpass Rashee Rice. And then we can all have that conversation of how cool would it be? I know there's contracts and offseason, another time for this, but I want to see Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins healthy for as long as we can to start a season. I know Hopkins wasn't in the plans. The other 3 were, but Hopkins, hopefully he loves it. Go get him a Super Bowl. Maybe go for 4 straight, but getting DeAndre Hopkins to come back to this group, bring Hollywood Brown back, as he's probably going to have to get another prove-it deal coming back from an injury, despite we're seeing him play pretty well and make plays, hopefully get the Chiefs deep into the playoffs, win another Super Bowl. But Worthy, Rashee Rice, obviously Kelsey, not forgetting about him, but from a receiver perspective, Hopkins and Hollywood Brown, I need to see that. I want to see that. It would be a beautiful thing to watch. Thanks for watching, listening, or otherwise supporting our content here at KC Sports Network and this show today with 10 things. If you like it, stay here, look around. If you're on YouTube, we've got plenty of content. Likes and subs are always appreciated. A lot of podcast content too. There's something for everybody. Don't expect you to listen to all the shows we have here at KCSN. The idea is to bring in a bunch of different personalities, a bunch of different styles of shows, and you can kind of pick what you like. Only Weird Games in the KC Lab, not exactly the same kind of show. And that's beautiful because 2 different audiences, 2 different groups of Chiefs fans, and we can support and giving them what they like here at KCSN. So we appreciate you. Tell a friend about us, and we'll catch you next time.